All right, welcome back to another Monday Night Storm King's Thunder. We're going to get everybody back together at some point here pretty quick as we start playing each Monday nights, and we continue our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons official module from Wizards of the Coast. It's been about a year and, I want to say a couple months now, so we're definitely well into it, and we're going to keep going. So on the map, you can see kind of where our two character groups are, though there's a lot there to see. We have a group in the north with the blue icon. We have a group in the south with the red icon. And they've matched up in timelines for the most part, give or take, and that's kind of where we're going to pick up from tonight. If you did miss anything, you can catch it over on my YouTube channel. I did put up the episodes, I believe, was 54 and 55, which was the Monday. We were running it on Monday and Thursday, and now that we brought it back together, I believe we're on episode 56, unless I got it wrong. And we're going to continue on. So, opening it up, we have a couple of scenes that will go, and we're going to bounce back and forth a little bit as we play. And I think the first thing that we will do is that our group in the north has just completed kind of their mission that they were doing up there in the north. So I think that's how we'll kind of open up first, and then we'll work with moving on from there. So those of you, which would be we kind of have a camera kind of zoom in on the crew that is sitting on the deck of a ship, probably resting and relaxing at the moment as it is sitting, is in the air at the moment. And we have our Dwarven Barbarian, Greybeard.
Yarr.
We have our half-elf Paladin, Finn, and his white lion mount. We have the Elven Ka'FeyBlak, our Spellsinger, and our Elven Ranger Ian, all kind of there. So at this point, you have just boarded. If you remember from the last episode, that you talked to the crew, and the crew is there to kind of run it for you. You don't have to run the ship yourself. So what do we see as we come in for the group here that's kind of together on the deck as they decide what is their next step?
Greybeard is just like so excited to be back on a ship, even though it's an airship, which is kind of weird and creepy, but he's trying to like learn how to fly an airship, what's different between it and a sea vessel. So I imagine he's bustling about and trying to learn how this contraption works.
Yeah, well, currently the crew is kind of waiting tentatively to be kind of told what to do.
Okay.
So you kind of just see several of these humans standing around, and they might whisper to each other a little bit, but they pretty much are waiting to be told what the next step is.
Where did we say we were going to meet the other team?
Mirabar, right?
Mirabar? So I look over to the crew who's standing there, who has been introduced to me, and I say, well, with your help and the help of your patron dragon, we are headed to Mirabar to meet the rest of our group.
Okay. Yeah, they you see them the leader, which you know as Delphine, kind of shouts some orders, and you see 3 of the humans kind of begin to take positions, and the ship begins to get underway. The other 4 go below decks, and the ship kind of begins to swing southward.
Ah, quite the vessel.
Very cool. I have nothing I want to get done between here and Mirabar, so I'm cool with whatever you want to do, Greybeard.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, Greybeard wants to try to learn as much as he can about flying an airship, because, I mean, you can be a pirate not on the ocean. How awesome would that be? Now, he doesn't say that out loud, of course, but that's what is going through his little dwarven head. So, yeah, I guess I'll spend my time with that. And, of course, Nod was very excited to be on board, so I'm trying to share in his excitement of, being the king of the world kind of thing. Because I don't think Finn... I don't believe Finn would be excited about flying around, but I can't speak for him, so...
Yeah, he definitely seems amused. Actually, he does seem to enjoy it.
Cool. Good. That makes old Greybeard happy. Now, am I playing coffee too?
Yeah, he is for the moment still with you guys.
Lucian.
Oh, yeah, for the moment he is still with you guys.
All right. Okay. Then coffee, I guess, looks about, and maybe if he, whether he needs to roll or not, tries to figure out the make of the ship, either with investigate or arcana, or, trying to figure out what makes it fly and who made it, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right. So the ship is underway. You're kind of flying. It's definitely very cold still up at the up near the spine of the world as it kind of bobs around the mountain giraffes. But the skies have been clear since you came out of the Eye of the Allfather. And you guys are on your way. So we can switch over to our other group. They are further in the south, currently in a cave system that is, as they're just finishing up, they're standing over the corpse of a chimera that they have just defeated, and they've finished searching out the rest of the bottom of the cave. It kind of wound around a little bit to the place where they could see that the chimera had kind of made its lair. You were able to see an actual pretty decent pile of objects and treasures that obviously this thing had collected from either things that had come to this cave or when it was out hunting was able to acquire. I forget who had the good survival check on that as far as knowing chimeras, but we'll say it was Ardreth. Ardreth knows that with a chimera, one of the heads is the dragon head, one is the lion head, and one is the head of a ram. And the dragon head part typically is the driving greed of the creature, so it has many of the greedy tendencies that dragons do, though it is a creature of many heads. And you are able to search the cavern and find kind of like a pile of stuff.
Is this the cavern that we were looking for?
This is the one that you were led to.
Okay. All right. So, do we need to roll a search or?
Nope. You guys have already searched. In what you were able to come up with was, and you're able to, count it all out. We can just list it out. It basically in piles, 700 copper pieces. There was 7,000 silver pieces. There was 1,400 gold pieces. And there was 50 platinum. You found 5 basically pieces of, you would think of like art, I guess. So like one is a small mirror set in a painted frame, an embroidered silk handkerchief, a copper chalice with silver filigree, a silver pitcher, and a gold locket that had what looked like a portrait of some sort in it at one time, but has faded with time. Also within the area, kind of in a pile mostly, it kind of acted very much like a dragon. There was also a circlet, which appears to be made of gold. There is a greatsword that was lying underneath most of the pile. And there was also a scimitar that was found in a corner.
All right. Do we know, are we figuring out who is grabbing what, or?
Personally, Edrim doesn't have any interest in any of that stuff.
All right. Jarral will take. I think the scimitar is a martial weapon, if I'm not mistaken. Well, he's going to take the scimitar anyway. He'll grab that as I'll assume he sees it. And I guess he'll take whatever, because understanding that the practicalities that we face, and our constant need for healing potions and stuff, he's gonna grab whatever he can carry that others can't, of the coins. I guess we'll figure it out later, splitting it up. Unless we have time now.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
All right, so I'll divvy everything up and give everybody their share of coinage.
All right. Edrim will carry anything that's assigned to him, but like I said, he's really not interested in any of it.
Okay. Jarral will also grab the golden locket.
All right, so you guys are able to exit that cavern. You're in the middle of the Star Metal Hills.
So I don't think Rex is on. Would Rex benefit from the greatsword?
I'm not sure.
Or would he be interested in the greatsword? I guess is probably the question.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
All right, so can we grab the greatsword, and if we find out after he joins that he didn't want it, then we'll just retcon that?
Sure.
Okay. So for now, I'll grab it. All right, and I'm also going to grab the circlet. I'm going to leave the art behind. I will admire it, though. All those items.
Okay.
Oh wait, is the locket part of the 5 art?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And none of us have magic, right?
Uh,
I mean, like
Not-
identify or detect
No.
magic.
nope, nothing like that.
All right, so, okay. All right, so yeah, he'll grab the gold locket and leave the mirror, silk, and pitcher behind.
Okay. You're standing outside the cave.
So, out of character, so the cave that we were led to, um, what it's been a couple of weeks. What was the objective there? Were we to find something for
There was supposed to be an artifact that would help us take down the giants.
an artifact? All right. So, all right. You know what? If he can carry it, I guess until we have everybody here to talk about it, he's gonna grab all 5 of those art items.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys
Just
have
'cause-
horses and stuff. It's not like you're worried
Okay.
about weight.
All right. So yeah, I'll grab all the. I'm assuming. So we did a thorough search of that cavern.
Correct.
All right. Yeah. So he'll take. I guess pretty much everything. Okay. So. So. I assume that the one of these 5 items, perhaps, is what the barbarians were talking about. It seems a little underwhelming. Do we continue to look?
Even if we were to find something else, I do not have the expertise to determine if it was what we seek.
Nor I. I guess it is good that we have what we found, but I guess we'll have to determine whether or not these items carry any magic or anything of value that would help us. I feel we've kind of wasted our time. We don't have any other direction, so without this cavern, we could be searching around here for days.
Should we head back to the Star Metal Hills and seek out Anvil Spine, or just head for Long Saddle?
What was that? Anvil Spine?
Yeah, Yognag Anvil Spine was the guy that we were talking to in the Hidden City and Star Metal Hills. The purple dot southeast of us.
Yeah, that's where we came from, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We could try to find our way back there, or we could just head for Long Saddle.
I mean, finding our way back should be easy. He just kind of gives him a wink. Just kind of pulls out a map and just doesn't pull it all the way out, but just kind of indicates, I took some notes. But they seemed reluctant to help us before. I'm wondering if it would be worth it.
Long Saddle?
And he shrugs. I think that's probably probably the direction we should go.
Edrim nods.
I guess the assumption is that the other Ardreth and Rex would agree.
Yeah. Yep.
If they disagree, then
It's too
they would be
late.
here. So yeah, I guess we go to Long Saddle.
All right. So it takes about
Before we go, should we rest?
What time of day is it?
it's about midday.
Is Lucien?
Oh,
go
it's about
ahead.
it's about midday.
Okay. At least a short rest, I think.
Would we have already had a short rest down in the cavern?
You can if you want.
Okay. All right. I would say we would have had a short rest in the cavern then, and I guess we'll wait until we get to Long Saddle for a long rest.
Okay.
All right. So traveling through the Star Meadow Hills, it takes you a day and a half to get to Long Saddle. So you get halfway through, you make camp that night, and then you get up again. Nothing happens throughout the watches as you then begin to travel, and it takes another day at that point to reach Long Saddle.
Okay.
All right, so switching around, back to the group. Let's see. So the airship reaches Mirabar. You're kind of floating into view of Mirabar. It was about a 15-hour trip.
I believe that's the city there. Look, Ian. And I try to get Ian to come close to the edge of the ship.
Oh, did she make it back yet?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I guess Nod's already there, and I'm ruffling the fur or the mane between his ears, and like, so, what do you think about flying? And since Logan's not here, I assume Nod is all excited like a big dog about it. And I'll say, that's right. I don't like the heights, but I do indeed love a ship. And I tried to, in the 15 hours, I tried to strike up conversations with the crew, just kind of get to know who they are, and ask them, Delphine, are you going to stick with us? Or is this, you're dropping us here and you're on your way?
She looks at you kind of funny, and then she kind of says, let's go back to here a second. Well, as you recall, we're here, and she kind of says it irritatedly to you, like we said before, on behalf of Clouth, the great dragon of the north.
Oh, sorry.
Clouth offers you this vessel in her service as a gift, so that you may cross his vast domain while avoiding the many perils of the land below.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, and then I guess then I'll say, I'll talk to Finn, and I'll be like, Finn, using the sending stone, where's the rest of our party? And are we waiting for them here in Mirabar, or should we go pick them up?
Yeah, you get a shrug of shoulders, and he hands you the stone.
Yeah, and I snatch it from him, and I pretend I remember how to use it, and I try to get it to work, and then I guess, wait for someone to pick up on the other end.
Yeah, so and we kind of see maybe like almost like a split screen, and there's we see Ardreth kind of patting his pockets as something slightly buzzes, and he rides up and he hands the stone to Edrim. And it's vibrating in your hand.
Okay. I change back into human. And I don't know if anybody told me how to activate it, but I will give it a try.
Yeah, I think everybody was explained how they used him. And actually, the timeline is, this is as you guys are just getting out of the cave on the first night that you're camping.
Okay.
So you're still in the Star Metal Hills as you have this, and this is as you're making camp. So you probably would have been out of animal forms by then.
Okay.
And yeah, you have it's just a word to be able to activate it.
All right. I will activate it and say the 2nd of the 6th.
Hey, it's Greybeard. Where are you guys at?
We are about a day west of Longsaddle.
All right, Greybeard's like, they're a day west of Longsaddle. So, well, we got the use of an airship from a dragon cult, and we're headed to Mirabar, or we're at Mirabar, and should we come get you guys in Longsaddle, or are you headed to us here?
I look over to the captain and I asked them, how long will it take for us to get from Mirabar down to Longsaddle?
Delphine looks at you and says, well, with the wind we've had so far in the last day, we're making probably about 8 miles an hour. If the weather changes, we could go quicker, we could go slower.
The ruler app comes out.
Continue on. I'm gonna have to do math.
Okay, all right.
130 divided by 8.
All right.
That's the easy math. It's the how long will it take you guys to get to us?
Oh.
It's the who's
15.
gonna get there faster, you or us.
You guys. 15 hours for you guys to get to Longsaddle, 24 hours more for us.
All right.
All right. Sure.
That's great. Thanks, Delphine, for doing that math. Unless Ian did the math.
Well, to ride from Longsaddle to Mirabar is somewhere around 4 or 5 days.
All right. Well, we'll meet you guys in Longsaddle then. We'll stop for some supplies here in Mirabar, maybe some information, and then as soon as we can, we'll get back in the air and come to you.
I will let everyone know.
All right, Fuzzface. We'll see you soon.
I'm glad that wasn't the other F word.
And then Greybeard hangs up, or, takes the stone back over to Finn. Or I believe Finn was carrying it. Gives it back to him.
Okay. So we see the split screen kind of come off, and we're back on the deck of the ship.
All right, Anybody got any business in Mirabar? I mean, we could get some supplies and whatnot. Maybe get a hot meal. I'm looking around at
Do we have?
everyone.
I don't think we have anything to sell, right? Was there anybody in Mirabar we wanted to see immediately? No, that was Mithril Hall. That was the other M.
Well, we've got some gems, a great axe.
Oh, well then,
You know.
let's go sell them, I guess, in Mirabar. I'm sure they'll need them.
'Kay.
All the shit coming down from the north.
All right.
Okay.
To the markets of Mirabar.
So you hear, as you guys begin to approach Mirabar, what kind of sounds like alarm. And you see quite a bit of activity on the walls around Mirabar as they're pointing at your ship.
No, we're friendly. We're friendly.
Yeah, you're probably still a couple miles up in the air as slowly
Right.
descending.
All right. Hey, Josephine, how does this work? Do we fly a flag, or, you know?
She kind of looks at you again, maybe irritated slightly. And she's like, well, we've never been to Mirabar. I have no idea how they will receive us. We are in a big red flying ship.
We need a white sheet. Anybody? White something. Someone's cloak. Something. I look at Finn, and I attempt to scrounge some kind of a white cape or cloak or something to fly over the side and wave about. And I'm looking real quick at somebody's spells. No. Oh, he does have message. Okay. So when we get close, Coffee will, you know, as we're closing in, but still like out of ballista range or whatever, he'll attempt to send a message down to someone who looks either intelligent or of authority.
Okay.
About, you know, we're this adventuring party. We've come from the Eye of the Owl Father, or Spine of the World, or whatever, and we have grave news for the masters of Mirabar. Hold on. We have... Oh, I did Greybeard's voice again. Darn it! It's going to be hard to switch up. Anyway, that's what Coffee says. I'll turn my mic off and get Coffee's voice going on in a minute.
Yeah, no problem. So Delphine then looks to Ian, I guess, and kind of looks and says, where exactly am I letting you off? As she's holding on to like a big wheel as she's steering this airship down in the buffeting wind.
Close to Mirabar. I look at her with an irritated look, and I'm like, a mile away from Mirabar, where you won't get shot down by the ballistas pointing at us.
All right, so she wheels it around as you were heading straight into Mirabar, and then
Where the fuck?
she, about probably a mile out to the north, without necessarily landing, they throw the rope ladders over when they're only a couple 100 feet off the ground.
Okay.
All right. Well, will you be here, or do you have other business to attend to before we come back?
She kind of gives you an irritated look.
Well, I'm giving her one back. The idiot
it's
who
matched,
was
and
about
then
to leave us in the middle.
She says to you, "We come to you on behalf of Clouth, the great dragon of the north.
All right.
Clouth offers you this vessel and our services as a gift, so that you may cross his vast domain while avoiding the many perils of the land below."
Good talk. If you have to go to the bathroom, just let us know, and I just start going down the ladder.
Yeah.
And Greybeard will be like, "All right, Josephine, what is there any supplies you need? Food, water, anything like that?"
No. They're just traveling from the Clouth for us. Greybeard, they apparently are automatons. They need nothing in this life.
Yeah, she looks to you while staring daggers at Ian, who's climbing over the edge. That the ship is currently fully stocked with about 100 days' provisions.
Oh, that's incredible. All right. And Greybeard goes over the side. And I guess
And
we...
convince us not to jump off.
Right.
And to stay on the vessel. Stay.
Well, or Finn could dismiss him and re-summon him when he gets down.
It's true. If they want to come,
So,
they could always stay up here.
Yeah, Finn probably doesn't want to go shopping, so he's probably going to stay on the ship.
okay. So,
And then maybe Coffee will stay with him too.
that sounds amazing. Thank you. Good call. And we, of course, we ask them what they need or whatever.
And they tell us that they need nothing, and we
Well, we can always flash back to buying their junk if they need something when they get here.
Very true.
All right.
So yeah, if you you can enter Mirabar, and there's plenty of markets that you can find. It's one of the richest cities in the north, and so it's a pretty big place. The guards talk to you a little bit as you guys approach, and you kind of confer to them that you have the airship, and they kind of point you out to some of the nearest bazaars that you can sell your wares. As kind of the town guard go on, stand down from their alarm.
Where
Go ahead.
I'll ask, not an officer at the gate, but like a captain or something that I could find somewhere about. I'll say, where does one land one's airship about here in Mirabar?
Apparently, our automatons are idiots. So
He kind of says to you, well, we haven't had many airships arrive. There's not like there's any docks or anything that are created for such a thing. The ones that he has heard of have landed outside of the city proper.
Oh, well, we did good then. Good thinking. Thank you, a good man. And Greybeard, chucks him on the shoulder and is, he says, if I was staying longer, I'd buy you and your men a round of drinks. And then he thinks about it and he goes, here, get you guys some drinks. And he'll fling them a gold.
Yeah,
Are you
he'll catch it
bribing
out
the
of the
guards.
What?
Are you bribing the guards?
It never hurts to grease the wheels. Yeah, right. Here, I gotta take away a gold piece. There.
All right.
Yeah, so if you want to sell anything, you can it would be, whatever the market price is, and then we can adjust it by if you want to make a persuasion roll for selling it.
All right.
I believe in you.
Nice. Okay, I have a silver unicorn head, holy symbol, and it says it's worth. It says it's worth 25 gold pieces.
How long? We got that in the first time we ransacked Nightstone.
I know.
How do you still have that?
I have a bag of holding, and if you remember correctly, I tried to use it to con my way into becoming a Knight of the Gauntlet or some silliness at the one place, and And Greybeard's entering a new period in his life here, so he's going to try to sell it. And so I will gladly make a persuasion roll to try to sell this 25 gold piece. Oh,
Yeah, you'll get about half the worth.
All right. So sold, and so like what? 12 GP.
Yep.
All right, and I will take that off my character sheet. So I gotta unlock that and trash it. Okay. We've also got an elf statue. It has no value listed. And I will definitely make a persuasion roll, and you can just tell me how much to pay for a statue of an elf. If I can sell it at all. Come on now. Go persuasion. There we go.
I don't know where you would have got that.
It was a long time ago. This is stuff that's been roaming around in the bag, and I'm trying to lighten the load here. Because we were packed. We were utterly packed in the bag of holding.
Yeah, then I'll just say 5 gold.
All right.
I have no idea.
Yep. Okay. And so that's gone. Yeah, the rest of it, the weight is nothing. So that statue was heavy. So that's why I was like, oh, we have 7 gems of their worm's blood. Worm's blood gems. That's what you told me to write down.
I think those were more recent.
Yes. I think we got them off the Barbarians at the... Or from the spiders. Ice spiders. In the eye.
And you have how many?
7 of them.
Okay. Yeah, each of those, they're willing to give you 50 gold.
Nice. Okay. Okay. And then, so then I'll get rid of those. And then, I want to know, is there an elven church here in Mirabar?
No.
Okay. So probably like Silvery Moon or somewhere else would be the only place I'd find a elven temple.
You're seeing mostly humans in this area, but one of the things that you know of is that this city is also supposed to be known for their dwarves, though you don't see hardly any of them.
Hey, you, just asking a merchant or someone, where's all the dwarves? I heard Mirabar was, like, famous for them.
Yeah, he kind of points to the ground, and, well, the dwarves live underground.
What? Ian, and he's, like, kind of tugging at your tunic. There's dwarves under the streets. Want to go take a look?
Sure.
All right.
Can't say I've ever been in a dwarven mine.
All right. We head underground.
Yeah, it's Mirabar is kind of like almost 2 cities: the surface city and then the underground city. Most of the humans live in the upper city, and then The underground caverns are all lit residential caverns and forges and foundries, and tunnels that lead around to mines and such, but it's all an underground dwarven city right underneath Mirabar.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Okay. Yeah. We'll head down there and I guess basically we being tourists more than anything else. Though I do pick up. I try to pick up some dwarven pipeweed and some dwarven coffee, if at all possible.
Sure. Yeah, it's a one of the larger dwarven settlements you've seen. Has just about anything you can look for.
Okay, I'll buy my at normal coffee pipeweed prices.
Yeah.
Okay, and then while I'm down there, I'll ask someone if do we have a temple of Doomathon here, which is the dwarven god of the dead.
The only temples that seem to be here have to do with the forge.
Okay, so Plangadin and Moradin and...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, it's good to see dwarves, but unless you have a scene or anything for us here, I'm good.
No, that's... Unless there's something else you
right.
guys want to do.
No,
No.
I'm good.
Oops, I was gonna say montage, flash, Greybeard, all kinds of excited about actually getting real dwarven coffee and such. But other than that,
I just meet a bunch of dwarven mean glares with my own mean glare everywhere we walk, because I'm sure they're not terribly thrilled with me there. Nor am I terribly thrilled to be there, but I'm not gonna go with Greybeard,
Mm-hmm.
And Greybeard's oblivious to the elf dwarf, glaring bad looks. He just doesn't. It doesn't bother him. He doesn't even think of it. So, all right, back to the boat.
Before you
And then
do,
off the long saddle. Oh, go ahead.
question. How many times can we use the Sending Stone?
Once per day.
Once per day. Did I know that Edrim was using it? Like, was he next to me when he was using it, or was I...
I assume that you would have been around. I mean, I don't think he was hiding the use of it.
And that was at camp, right after we got out of the cave.
Yeah.
Okay. And you initiated that?
I did
No.
not.
You did not. Greybeard did.
Yep.
All right, so if I can, so do I know that Long Saddle is like a hamlet? I'm assuming I know that.
I don't know if you've been to Long Saddle. You can roll a history check.
All right. Oh, I do.
Yep. You would have passed through before.
All right. Then when Edrim is talking to the folks with the Sending Stone, I'm going to ask him if he can ask them, since they mentioned they were going to Mirabar, if they can keep an eye out for a hand crossbow.
Oh, all right.
That will cost less than 100 gold, and 20 crossbow bolts.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might be Ian's gig better than mine, but we'll try to find one.
Awesome.
We try and find a hand crossbow as we walk out and remember. Oh, right. We're supposed to get that thing for Jarral. So what's the running rate on those guys?
I got the book.
Supposed to be worth 75.
Okay. Yeah. Ian can make a persuasion roll.
Oh, that'll go great.
That's why I was like, what? Do you really want Ian to roll that?
There you go.
Yeah. So it's the one she can find is 125 gold.
I
Yeah,
guess
fuck
she doesn't
that
get
shit.
it then, unless she's being generous.
I've
Yeah.
never known Ian to be generous, so
Nor have I.
we're gonna go with
So,
no.
All right, so I guess
Oh, just get it for him, the Greybeard. It's like,
I'm like, he specifically said less than 100.
all right, fine. I'll get him a birthday's present of 25. There it is. You elves are born, right? You're not like hatched or sprung from flowers or anything. You gotta have birthdays.
and the
We don't care much for them.
crossbow bolts, I think, is 1 gold for 20. Is that right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I would need arrows.
Bolts, sure.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thank you.
All on Greybeard's tab.
Awesome.
Sure. Okay, so 126.
No,
the bolts cost
I'll-
twice as much also.
Okay, 127.
I'll split. I'll give you 50 for that because I don't know if you have that much gold. He says that number, and I'm like, nope. Here, I don't know if you have that much, so here's 50.
All right. Cool. Do a little math here. Cool. All right.
I get Nod a fish from the market,
Nice.
and then we can head off.
And I grab Captain Delphine a big batch of flowers.
Okay.
So, what's a big batch of flowers? Run me a gold?
No, not probably like a copper.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we see you guys trudging back out of Mirabar, heading back over to the airship and climbing up. As you climb up, go ahead and make either a athletics check or a
Acrobatics.
acrobatics. Yep, whichever one you want. Okay. Yeah, so you climb up. Ian, you have a tiny bit of trouble, just a slip, but then you catch yourself and then you make it up the ladder. And then the two of the crewmen start rolling up the rope ladder, and Delphine begins to switch a lever, and the ship begins to rise back up to the air currents. And then she looks to you.
I swear to God, if she asks me one more time where we're going, I'm gonna knock her in her face.
She definitely asks you where you're going.
I step between them.
Okay, I say okay, Delphine of the Cloud of the Dragon, who is here to help us to do. I give her spiel back because I haven't cared enough to remember it, and I say we are going with the same tone she always gives us. Long saddle. Would you like me to spell that out for you, or will you remember this time? It's like I'm talking to a goddamn recruit. Jesus Christ.
So she begins to spin the wheel, and you can feel the ship kind of sway, and then begins a southerly journey.
And Greybeard walks up with a huge dwarvy grin and says, "Right, sorry we got off to a rough start. Here," and he gives her the flowers.
Sure. Let's do a. You can do a persuasion roll. Let's see what you get out of that.
Sure. All right, come on. Ooh.
Yeah, she gives you a nod and at least less of a scowl than you've seen thus far.
Excellent. Greybeard is very happy with himself. All right.
And you see Finn just shake his head.
and I bump Finn a bit on my way across the deck to like go up a set of stairs to the forecastle, which
Okay.
I'm sure that's where Nod is, and me and him just kind of stand there with the wind whipping my beard and his mane. So,
All right. Yeah, and we have a scene of you guys leaving Mirabar behind. It starts to get late, and you notice the other crewmen that had went below deck have come up, and they kind of take their places, and then you see Delphine and the other three that you've been seeing most of the day. Basically, it's like a change of the watch. There's two of them are lookouts, and then two of them are crewing the different contraptions that actually run the ship as it begins to head south. All right, so our other group, you end up reaching Longsaddle after a day's journey outside of the Star Meadow Hills.
Is there an airship present?
Not yet. Or at least not one that you see, unless it's an invisible airship.
Jarral says to Edrim, he kind of has the air that he knows a lot about this town since he rolled a natural 20. So he's going to suggest there is an inn here. I believe it is called the Gilded Horseshoe. We should search it out. Maybe we can rest here. And as we're kind of walking down the road, as we enter Longsaddle, Charles going to keep an eye out for anybody that may be stereotypically dressed as a magician, wizard, or something.
You're not seeing anybody kind of stand out. This is it looks more of like a stopping town for caravans that can come through. Let me go first.
My note says that we were going to meet somebody called Thorgar, who is a smith and harper contact in Longsaddle.
Did I know that? Or was that a Harper thing?
I am not a harper. That was a group thing, I think.
It was a group thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's group thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a sleepy little frontier village, and it has rows of homes and businesses on either side of the trade route.
Okay, then I guess we'll kind of get to the Gilded Horseshoe, and just arrange for. I mean, did we have an indication of when we were expecting to meet up with them?
Well, based on the conversation Edrim had with them over the Sending Stone, if they had been able to keep a pace of 8 miles an hour, they should have gotten here before us.
Was that before or after they hit Mirabar?
That was from Mirabar.
From Mirabar, okay. So, all right. Then I guess perhaps we should instead look for the blacksmith, right?
Yeah, blacksmith and harper contact.
Oh, they're not the same person?
No, it is the same person, I think.
It
yeah,
is? Okay.
yeah, Thorgar.
Okay, so I guess we'll just slowly go through the town, see if we can find.
Yeah,
find
the smithy stands out.
Okay.
It's an easy building to find. And yeah, inside you find a dwarf who is busy at work at an anvil pounding on what appears to be horseshoes.
Okay. This would normally, I think, be where Ardreth would be doing most of the talking. So I guess if we know that this guy is the harper, I guess Ardreth. I guess should I act as Ardreth or Edrim, whoever?
No, you guys can act as yourself.
Well, Ardreth would be doing the talking because he's the harper.
Well, it's not like it's a secret or anything.
No, I know, but just to kind of introduce and break the ice, like kind of do whatever is harper.
Yeah. I think Ardreth would walk up and speak to him, and he would turn and then address you guys.
Okay. Do we know what we're looking for from this guy?
I think we were just supposed to check in with him after we found the artifact in the Star Meadow Hills.
Okay. So Jarral will say we have been sent here. We on the mission from can't remember his name. Harsh. Was it Harsh that sent us?
Lavrin Bitterbow.
Lavrin Bitterbow. And we were told to locate an artifact and check in with you. However, I'm not sure if we have that artifact. Are you able to identify any items?
He kind of looks to you and shakes his head and says, nope, I am just a blacksmith, though I deal with the harpers, and I did get a message from Glavrin saying that you would be coming. And he kind of gives also a nod to Rex, who is also a member of the harpers.
Oh, okay.
And he says, I had a message, and I can send one out. I was instructed to, once you had returned, to send a message that you had survived, that you had made it out. I think he kind of looks at all of you and just says, I think that's all they were looking for, is just to be sure, that you weren't lost on the quest. So he's going to I'll send a message to Glavrin to let him know that you are safe. He hands a letter to Tovi, and Tovi reads over the message and then kind of nods and then looks to you guys and says, "Well, I've been called to return home." And she kind of shakes everybody's hand and maybe does a little small talk of it's been great traveling with you. You fought honorably and well, but now I must return back to Silvery Moon.
We could not have done it without you.
And she gives everybody a nod, and then you see her kind of leave you to the conversation with the dwarf as she goes out to her horse, begins to pack the saddlebags, and then makes preparations to head back to Silvery Moon.
Okay. So I know much of Long Saddle. I claim to know a lot about harms. The Hardpelts. The Hardpelts. Are they? Do they show themselves often, or do they confine themselves to the Ivory Tower?
We do not see any of the Harpels in Longsaddle very often. And he kind of thinks a moment and says, in fact, I don't think we've seen him in a few months.
Interesting. I know they've had a good history with my kind. I'm wondering perhaps if they would be able to help us identify some of these objects to see what we have, to see if we found what we were looking for.
Yeah, he says, though I haven't really had much contact with them, just a few of their servants come in every now and then, but it's not very often. It's possible, but he wouldn't know for sure.
I see. Okay, very well. Thank you for your assistance. And Jarral doesn't have anything else for him, unless anybody else does.
Nope.
Okay, then as we leave, Jarral is going to suggest... Actually, so I'm assuming the Ivory Tower is pretty obvious where that is? Or is that behind a...
I mean, you know that it lies to the west of town, but you don't see it from town.
Okay. Then the last thing you'll do is you'll ask which direction, or can you give us the general direction for the tower?
Yeah. There's a path that leads west. That leads out to it.
Okay. So I'm gonna suggest that maybe we should go there, and while we're waiting for the airship, just kind of sit out front, and Jarral will make a point of taking off as much of his armor or clothing, just to make sure that it's obvious that he is a Drow. And he's going to sit and meditate in that pose, where he believes the entrance or wherever to the Iron Tower, the land is.
Okay, well, before you leave town,
Okay.
I would have you three roll a perception check.
All right. God.
And that would be Edrim, Rex, and I'll roll one for Ardreth real quick.
Hey.
Actually, you guys got it, so no big deal. So Edrim and Rex, you recognize as you're in the middle of town area. You see also a wanted poster, and it has like a charcoal sketch of a dwarf with dark hair, kind of a maddening gaze, and in common written underneath the kind of this crude drawing, you see the words, "Let justice be done. The Marquion of Mirabar hereby offers 5,000 gold pieces for the capture of the brigand Warvel Forkbeard, known from Luskin to Mirabar as the Weevil. Last seen around the mines of Mirabar, the Weevil is wanted for theft and murder. He is armed and dangerous. Deliver him to the Axe of Mirabar to receive payment."
Edrim doesn't pay any attention.
Okay.
He notices it, but it goes... No. His gaze just kind of slides right off.
Rex does the same.
Is it the same one that I showed them after Tribor?
What do you mean the same one? Oh.
The same one. If is it the Weevil? Is it the same $5,000
Yeah, the Weevil.
reward in
Yep.
Xanthar's Gate?
Yep, the Weevil.
How do you remember this stuff?
Because I write down notes. So you know, girl.
Jarral didn't see it. So if they
well,
ignore it, then I'm not going to know about it.
Okay. So, yeah, you guys are probably not too far out of town when Edrim picks up, coming from the north, a dark spot in the sky.
Okay.
As we, whenever we start approaching Long Saddle, I tell, once we can see the town, I tell Desserin. No, it's Desserin Valley. It's Delphine. All right.
Hold on. Yeah. Currently at the helm is Perella.
All right. Hopefully, Perella's smarter than the other one. I tell Perella, land about a mile away from the town. We don't need any accidents happening with jumpy citizens. Okay?
Yeah, and she gives you a nod and begins to maneuver the ship accordingly.
All right. I am not about to plummet 1,000 feet just because of some Stupid captain. All right. 10 out of 10. Good for you. I don't show any encouragement, but PB is very happy about that.
All right. Yeah, and you guys are probably... It's probably 10 to 12 miles out, but you can see that far on a good clear day. So you know you're starting to get close, but you still have some time to travel there. And then Edrim was the one. Edrim, you're able to see kind of the speck in the shadow that stands out up in the northern sky from you.
Jarral, I think that is them.
Jarral will kind of look in that direction, and I don't think he's...
Yeah, you can make it out as he's pointing out. It's definitely a long way off, and you would have missed it had you not kind of known where to look or being told where to look.
Okay. So he's gonna grunt. I hope so. If it is something else, then I just would prefer not to think about that.
All right, so about an hour goes by, and the ship begins to lose altitude, and you're kind of out to the north and west of Longsaddle, where fighting kind of some of the wind currents, Perella is able to bring the ship to within about 100 feet of the ground, and they start to unroll the ladders.
Did they pass us, or...?
They're still to the north.
Okay. So, would we have seen where they would... the general area they'd come down?
You could definitely figure it out, yeah, as you see them descending.
Okay, I'm just wondering if we have time to do what I was going to do, or if it doesn't make any sense. It's just, let's head north to where they were gonna... Looks like they were coming down.
Well, you haven't seen the tower yet. You're not quite sure how far down the track it is, but it would be up to you.
Oh, well, if we don't know where it is, then there's probably no point in... I mean, I would have thought we'd been given, like, a direction, sort of an indication, go down the path a certain way, and then that's where we'd stop. But if we're not sure, then I guess if we see that, then Jarral's probably going to suggest that we just head up and meet them.
Okay. So yeah, you guys are able to get up to where you think it's going to land as it's descending, and what you see is, I think we could probably do this now. Oh yeah, actually, you guys can probably already see it in the journals. Let's see. We don't need to make any changes to it. We just want to take a look at it. Which is this one. Nope. I'm looking for one more piece of thing here. Oh, here we go. So you can see that. So this is what Jarral, Rex, Edrim, and Ardreth see as it descends. So you see a airship that has an enormous balloon that appears to be made from dragonhide and looks to be of a very bright red. Atop the balloon, there's what you would know as a crow's nest, and it currently has a person up there that you may not recognize. And you can tell that the way to get up there is by ropes on the outside of the balloon. You can see ropes that hang down from the balloon down to a gondola that has been fitted with steel runners, and the airship is slowly descending on the air currents and fighting a little bit, but mostly coming down where the pilot is directing it. There is a propeller aft of the gondola that's spinning, and that's what you see as it begins to descend. And you can see it gets to a couple hundred feet, and then you see the rope ladders kind of launch over the side. The people on deck can see your 4 companions standing kind of in a grassy area, clear of most trees and such. It is kind of a hilly, grassy area, and as you get lower, you start to see the hills kind of rise up a little bit. From so high, it just mostly looked like flat grassland that you've been traveling over for several hours. But you see your companions as you drift closer to them.
Hail, adventurers!
It looks like an aggressive skate.
Oh, I said hail!
Can we hear them from where they are?
Yeah, you can hear Greybeard shouting from the deck of the ship.
Jarral will just kind of wave back in acknowledgement.
Okay. So what I think we'll do as we drift and you're just a few hundred feet off, we'll go ahead and take our 5-minute break. We'll let everybody take a quick go get drinks and use restrooms if needed, and then we'll go ahead and come back and we will continue our adventure. Oh, I see a grip of the greens here. That's good. I wasn't watching chat. And Spammy's here. Oh, Spammy's in there chatting with him, which is good because I keep missing all of it. So, all right. So, yeah, we're going to be back in about 5 minutes, so don't go anywhere. We got more adventure to go, so stay tuned. All right, we are back, and we open up the scene as we see a dwarf yelling out over the side of a flying airship, and it's descended and then come to a hovering stop above our group that was on the ground. What would the groups like to do?
Hey, Jarral, how are you?
Very well. It's good to see you.
Are you wearing a shirt at the moment?
He put his stuff back on once.
Okay. All right.
Well, so he wasn't going to take it off until he sat down, but since we couldn't find the place, he never did.
Okay. All right, because I was going to give you guff, but I guess GB gives you a hug, probably lifts you off the ground, and goes around the group to Ardreth, and I traveled with
Edrim. Yep.
Edrim before, so yep, same thing with Edrim. Though I'm sure as I go to give him a hug, Edrim acts stiff, like, are you touching me? Or do you just take the hug?
He does take it kind of stiffly.
All right.
But he doesn't step back or anything.
And then I turn, I whirl, and I go to give Rex a hug, and I go, "Oh, who are you?" And I put out a hand, a big dwarfy hand.
I hesitate and shake your hand, and I say, I'm new around these parts. The name's Rex.
Well, welcome aboard, Rex. This here's the Flying Nod. I just announced the name of the ship. I make it up because I'm sure we were told what the name was, but Nod kind of laid claim to it, so we're gonna.
Yeah, actually, there had been no name for the ship.
Okay, yep. So we're calling it the Flying Nod. At this point, I just no vote. No
one thing that Rex will see as you're looking over Greybeard, and we probably should just give descriptions have Greybeard describe what you actually look like to Rex, because I don't think he's had that yet.
All right. Greybeard's just a brick lump of a dwarf. He's even without the belt of giant strength, he's I think a 20 strength, and then a great big battle axe, a couple of scimitars. He looks like a pirate more than a dwarven warrior, and I actually have the pirate trait, so I have the bad reputation thing. So if you know anything about pirates, you might know Greybeard.
And Rex, actually, you do.
I do know him.
Yeah, you know of him.
I know of him. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much Greybeard. Oh, he's got 2 stripes of gray in a otherwise black beard.
All right, and then you see behind him would be Ian. Ian, you want to go ahead and give him a description of Ian?
Ian is standing back there, giving you what you would assume to be a scowl. Though you will learn that's not really what's happening. That's just how she looks. She is standing there, wearing leathers, long bow, strapped to my back, quiver back there. Probably has her arms crossed, in front of her, looking at you. Fair feature. She's a wood elf, so you probably see a bunch of those features. And if you've ever seen one, it looks fairly normal. The only feature that is a little unique about her is that she has blue eyes. She's just looking at you with a scowl, and doesn't say much.
Got it.
Yeah, and then behind her you see a Medium, probably 5'11"-ish, human with slight elven features, blue eyes, light skin, wearing plate mail with green tinges to it, horns on the helmet, has a white lion standing next to him, and offers you his hand as Finn.
I shake his hand.
And then the last person that you notice is a slightly shorter elf with 2 swords strapped to him, blue eyes, bronze skin, blondish hair, and is wearing a kind of a half mask at the moment that he pulls down, and introduces himself as Coffee. You can tell that he is a moon elf. And when you see him, you recognize that he matches the exact description of a letter that you have, that you were given by the Harpers to deliver to the person that matches this exact description.
Okay, the moment I see him, I pull out the letter, and I say to him, I believe this is for you.
Why, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Who is it from?
Well, upon opening it, at this point, Coffee will read over the contents. He looks to Finn, hands the letter to Finn, who also reads it over, and they kind of walk off to, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 feet away from the group, and they have a quiet conversation where Coffee seems to be a little bit more animated than you've ever seen the temperament of Coffee. And Finn is shaking his head with a resigned kind of yes nod as he's listening to him. Doesn't look too happy about it. And then they come to some agreement, and they walk back to the group. And Coffee kind of faces everybody, looks everybody in the eye, and says, I need to leave, and I need to go back to my homeland.
I give him I walk up to him, and I hold out my arm to be shaken, and I'll say, it is a responsibility that we all have, and I respect your decision. If you are able to come back, you're always free to come and travel with us on our journey to slay giants and fix this whole mess. But you take care of yours.
Yeah, and go ahead and do an insight check with advantage as you were staring at him.
I don't think I'm great at insight, but I'll try. It's not the worst thing in the world, but considering it's me, it's probably the worst. Oh no! Hey, look at that!
Yeah. You can read great pain in his eyes. He's holding back a tremendous amount of emotion, and you recognize it as, most elves are probably very reserved, and to see this much emotion coming through that he's trying to hide from most, you definitely believe it to be very serious, and probably of a family nature, or a loved one, or some type of significant person within his life. You can just see and you also see the torn nature in not wanting to leave, knowing that the mission is undone, but also whatever this person or whoever these people are that are now in danger or he needs to go to, his priority is to them.
Yep, and I move a little bit closer to him, because again, it's probably not a thing he wants shared if nobody knows about it and he hasn't said anything. I move up a little bit closer. If he ever clasps my arm.
He will.
I move closer and I say, If you need any help from us, feel free to ask. I'm sure the Harples will know where we are, and if things don't turn out the best, and I tell him a trick about Fey wine and mixing a different drink together. It does well when you go into a trance. And I step back and I give him a hearty nod. And then I hope we will meet you again. Coffee, Philandro. I step back.
Yeah. And as he kind of moves, he begins to head to Greybeard. Finn steps up to you, Ian, and you see the absolute anguish on his face as you also realize he's going with coffee.
What?
I hold out my arm to him also. And I say, Finnwe, it has been an honor fighting with you. And I understand you must go. It's a great responsibility that lies on all of our backs, especially in times like these. Take good care of both you and Coffee. I hope to see you once more, but if you do not come back to us in time, I promise we will take down Duke Zalto in your name.
Yeah, and in Elvish, he kind of replies to you in a whisper that blood is the strongest bond, and it tears my heart in two to leave you to this mission, but I cannot leave my brother in arms. And you can see he's really torn, and he's ready to kind of move to say his goodbyes to also the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm. And if Nod is near him.
Yeah, Nod. Nod. You see Nod, and he looks super confused because he's getting some very strange emotions, but doesn't actually know what's going on. So he seems happy, but also confused by the sudden turn in mood from Finn.
I squat down in front of him, and I say, and I do the thing where I ruffle his mane behind his ears, and I look at him, and I hold his head, and I say, it has been wonderful knowing you, Nod. I hope we get to see each other again, and if we do, I promise we'll go off, and I'll show you all the cool things there are in my home, in the High Forest. But you take care of yourself and take care of Finn, okay?
Yeah, and you get a big lion purr and a paw that kind of knocks you back a step as he simulates the kind of shove on the shoulder or the touch on the shoulder that he's seen, other people do, almost like the little punch to the shoulder to say, "Hey, that a boy." But it's obviously of the lion's strength, and you kind of rock just a little bit from it.
And I give him a little scritch, and I walk back.
Yeah. So he moves also to Greybeard. So Coffee is shaking your hand, and you can see the look on his face as he's having to say his goodbyes. And you've noticed at the same time, out of the corner of your eye, Finn and the exchange between Finn and Ian.
So Greybeard pulls him in and gives him the hug, and I imagine Coffee rolls his eyes because we've never been close, and it's always been that kind of "please don't touch me, dwarf" kind of thing. So he still does that, and then when he lets go of Coffee and turns towards Finn and Nod, he takes 2 steps, and then he turns, and the camera can tell that he's wiping his eyes, and then he turns back and he goes, "You guys, take it easy out there. We will stand in battle again, brother." and you know, grab Finn, you know, big hug to Finn, and to the point where I'm putting some strength into his plate mail a little crushingly, and I'm like, I'm sure your God will keep you safe, but he won't be there to watch over me, you know, kind of thing. You give him a little bit of guilt, because Greybeard's always afraid of God stuff, and Finn was always his protector in that case. And then he looks over at Nod, and he
hold on a sec. Before you see Finn reach into his belt pouch, and out he pulls what you recognize as one of the last doses of the pixie dust, and hands it to you.
And I'm like, useless elf magic. But I'm grinning at him like, all right, I'm writing down pixie dust. That's awesome. Okay. And then I'll grab Nod all the way around the neck, and I'll scruffle his mane, and I'll bump him, and then he bumps me back, and I almost fall over, and I'm like, you keep an eye on Finn for us. Bring these boys back to us, would you?
Yeah, and he gives you a big lion lick of your whole face.
All right, big toothy grin, and again he rubs at the side of his eye and is like, I'm not crying. Doesn't say it, but
It's dusty.
Yeah, Coffee and Finn say their goodbyes to Ardreth, who they've have traveled with since Nightstone, and say their goodbyes. And Finn also walks over to Jarral, pulls a ring off of his hand, and says to you, it wasn't that long ago when you also had to take care of something that was very important to you. And though you handed this to me for safekeeping, as you were continuing on the mission, it is now only right for it to move back to you. And he hands you back the ring, which was the ring of protection +2.
Oh, sweet. Jarral nods understanding, and he accepts the ring. And he just he clasps Finn's hand, gives it a shake, and says, it makes me sad that our reunion is so short. Keep the faith.
And then Coffee, walking over to Edrim, digs kind of out of his pack. He has one of the leftover potions of healing, and he kind of hands it over to Edrim and says, you will need this more than we. Make sure you keep them alive until we can make it back. And he hands you a potion of healing.
I will do my best. And Edrim will nod and accept the potion.
Also looking at it, Coffee says, though we must be on our way quickly, I can perform the ritual of magic if it is needed on any of the equipment anybody has.
Indeed. And he says, the same thing. It's I wish we were meeting again under better circumstances, but I entirely understand that you have other things that take a priority. And I wish you the best, and I wish you to keep the faith as well. We located some items. I don't know exactly what we have. We're supposed to find this artifact, but none of these items tell me artifact. So I was wondering if you could take a look at that. And he shows Coffee the great sword you want me to go one by one, and wait, or just?
No, he's going to perform a ritual. It takes about 10 minutes, but he'll have you lay all of the items out in front of him that you wish him to examine.
Okay, so Jarral will lay out the greatsword. The golden circlet, was that part of the 5 art items?
Yes.
No.
It was separate. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I'm missing one of the art items. That I'm not sure what it was.
Yep, I was missing one. I was trying to type while Lucien was speaking.
Okay. So we have these.
Well, you
Sorry,
can just
the
lay them
mirror?
all out. Yeah, you can. I got the list. You can lay them all out in front of him.
Okay, which one am I missing? We have the mirror, the silk, the locket, and the pitcher.
You're missing the chalice.
Chalice. Okay. So he lays all of that stuff out: the greatsword, the scimitar, the circlet, and he also says, and this probably nothing, but he lays down the shaman whistle.
Yeah, so you see him perform the ritual. And as he's looking at items and examining them, he picks up he places the whistle and mentions in kind of he looks like he's in a trance, but he's still able to speak. And he says that this piece here is magical. And he moves the whistle over kind of to his right on the ground, outside of this circle that he has drawn in the ground of arcane symbols. And it is a whistle of animal friendship. And I'll put it in the player journals.
Okay.
He looks at the items. He grabs the golden locket and moves it to his left. He grabs the silver pitcher, examines it, moves it to the left. He takes the scimitar in hand and he moves it to the right and says, this weapon has magical properties. For you to understand its properties, you will have to become attuned to it.
Can I ask any questions while he's doing this?
You can try, sure.
Okay. Is it good magic or bad magic? Like, is it cursed?
That's not something that can be discerned in a detect magic.
Okay.
So it's just magical is what it comes across. It doesn't have a.
Oh, it's just a detect magic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Identify also, right?
He does, but even with an identify, it doesn't say if it's a cursed item or not.
Okay.
Let's see. He grabs the embroidered silk handkerchief. He moves that to the left. He grabs the circlet, moves that to the right. And this is also an item that has magical power stored within it and also needs to be attuned to use it. But he recognizes it as something he's seen before, and he believes it's what is called a circlet of blasting.
Cool.
He grabs the small mirror in front of him and then moves it to the left. And then the final item laying before him is the greatsword. And when he touches that, you see kind of his spine arch. And you can see the glowing power of the weapon. And he speaks a word, and for a brief moment, the sword, the entire length of the sword, erupts fire all along the weapon. And then just as quickly as it comes up, it extinguishes, and he places the greatsword to the right and says this is a powerful magical item, also required attunement.
Okay.
And then those are all of the items.
What about the chalice?
The chalice is to the left.
Chalice is to the left.
So all of the art items were to the left.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yep. Mirror, handkerchief, the chalice, the pitcher, and the locket.
All right. Okay, so an artifact. So Jarral's he looks puzzled. And so our mission was to find an artifact, but I don't.
It was
I
the
don't- I still
sword.
don't-
It was the sword. It was the one that gives the bearer of the weapon gives protection to the wielder and allies from fire and heat. It is Force Grey's Fire Weaver, right? The legend of the weapon, Force Grey.
Yeah,
Fire Weaver.
correct.
So that is what you know. So you would understand what this weapon was.
Okay. Well, I figured just from the reaction, but okay. All right. So then Jarral is no longer confused. So it would appear it's this great sword. Thank you very much, Coffee.
Hey, Coffee, by the way, will you be needing those shards where you're going? The runes? So the
yeah.
rune of ice and the rune
I didn't
of...
see it anywhere on his character sheet. Did you not have them written down?
We didn't know who was carrying it, so yeah, it's...
Yeah, I just went off his character sheet of stuff, yeah.
Okay, alright. So, yeah, we'll just...
So, yeah, we can say you have it at this point.
Okay, I will put it out on my sheet right now.
All right. And with that, I believe in the solemn moment, as the goodbyes have been said, we see the two figures. One of them asks to use one of the horses that you guys have. You have 4 horses currently. Finn mounts up onto Nod. I think Ardreth would hand his horse over to Coffee, and then we see Coffee and Finn begin to ride south along the road hard and at a gallop.
Dude, that was emotional, man.
Leaving our members to have a final discussion for tonight before I think we'll end the session. What do you guys wish to talk with each other about, and what plans
How much
shall
time
you
do we have
make?
left? No time, right?
What's that?
We're at the end of the session.
Well, no,
right
we
at the
have, we
end
have
of the
enough time because usually we're ending now because Brian has to go, but he's not here tonight, so we can go for a little bit long. I think we can go for long enough to have the scene of where you think you guys are going to go, talking it out. Because obviously
so
you
here's my
have
question.
Rex
Do I
and
have
Jarral.
enough time? Do I have enough time to explain to them everything that happened at the Eye of the Allfather, or should I save that for next time?
No, yeah, I think we have enough time for that. I think that this would be a good time to have that discussion so that when we come back next Monday, we're ready to be right on the road and going to wherever we're going to go.
So before you do that, Jarral will ask, how was... where were you?
The Eye of the Allfather?
Mirabar. No. How was Mirabar? Were you able to secure the items I was looking for?
Oh, yes. Here's your hand axe. No, not hand axe. Hand crossbow. I hand that over to you.
Very nice. Thank you very much. How much do I owe you?
You only owe me 50 gold. You owe Greybeard, technically 26, or 76, but I'm sure some of it was a gift. You'd have to discuss that with him.
Yeah, you're all good. We're not gonna worry too much about it. What's a few gold amongst friends?
I do not wish to put you out. I mean, resources are tight. I will gladly pay the one. Wasn't expecting it, but I would gladly pay you what you paid.
Just give me the 50 and we're good.
He bows and his head and thanks.
Alright, cool. I will note accordingly.
So that was 127? Or I'm sorry, 100 then, right?
Right.
Yes, 100, yeah. Okay, so first order first, so we can tell Desphine our location about 5 times before we start getting there. We didn't talk about this earlier before we split, before all this responsibility fell on us, but a few months ago, I guess at this time, Jesus Christ, it's been months in this world. A few months ago, I was given a tip-off that there was a wanted fugitive in Xanthral's Keep, where the reward was 5,000 gold. And while this might seem like a small task in a giant war, I believe 5,000 gold between us would be very, very useful. We have other things to do, but I think I can explain that on the way there. So we might as well get going if anybody else thinks we should do something else, or if we, I guess, just go towards the rest, do the main mission, do the main quest.
I would agree with both.
Okay. Does anyone else not wish to head to Xanthral's, or say yay and nay?
Well, I've never turned down gold, so... Well, I just did.
I mean, if you say that it would benefit us on our mission, then I think you have been... your adventure has probably brought you closer to, the information that we seek. We did not learn much on ours, so if you think it is important, then that is what we should do.
Okay, Edrim. Rex?
Aye, a good adventure never passes by me without a hearty invitation.
Edrim just seems indifferent.
Edrim, I would enjoy your opinion, although your stoic facade always liked. It's an important matter. If you believe we should do something else, I would like to know your opinion.
As long as it gets us closer to our end goal, I am okay with it.
Okay, so I turn to, I'm sure, someone who is just standing there so ready to know exactly where we want to go. I turn and I say, or yell, depending on how far away we are from the driver, I guess. We wish to turn back and go towards Xanthral's Keep. Oh, yes?
Yeah, you see a wave, and you hear some of the workings of the ship preparing.
Okay, sweet. All right. So
laid out on the ground are all these items as
I was just
Ardreth
gonna say something.
points to the stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jarral would have picked that stuff up when everything was done.
Greybeard, I was ready to say, don't leave the magic round.
Sorry, yeah. No, I assumed that Jarral had picked it all up.
Well, our adventure towards the Eye of the Allfather was interesting. We learned a lot, and we, we have picked up some artifacts of our own. I'm sure we have a lot to talk about that. However, first I wish to talk about what we learned at the Eye of the Allfather. Is there like a private place we could talk about this? Do we have to talk about this on the deck, or?
Actually, you guys are still on the ground at this point. You've never gone back up to the ship yet.
Oh, I thought they came up to us. Oh, well then.
No. You guys went down to them, and they got on the horse and rode off. You guys are on the ground.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. I thought we were up there. All right. Well, that makes me seem like more of a dick about yelling at them about where we were going. Let's see. Well, it's going to be a long tale. We should head up into the airship. It is an airship given to us by oh god, you'll hear it. If you ask anything on this ship, they'll tell you.
Delphine shouts from over the side, "It is from Clouth."
God damn it. You'll get to hear that one a lot. If I were you, I would not ask her any questions. It's from Clout, the ancient dragon who wishes to help us on our journey across his lands. Did I get that right, Delphine?
You get a thumbs up.
God damn it. Well, it is going to be a long talk. We should head up while we prepare on our journey.
Ardreth kind of looks and asks the horses then.
No, hell.
I mean...
Can we, like retcon that they took them with them? That Finn and...
Well, Ardreth is happy to go sell them in Longsaddle.
Sure, I will wait for you on the airship, Ardreth. It's not like you're actually here for me to tell you all this.
Right.
It's not like I'll have to explain it next time.
Yeah, write it down so you're able to explain it really well.
Yeah.
Next week, too.
Yeah, well, it's already all written down. To a crazy amount. Alright, so let's head up to a private room and discuss these very serious matters. Whilst Ardreth go makes money.
Yeah, he's not gone long, and he's back pretty quickly. He sells each of the horses for 50 gold and is back.
Oh snap, look at you, Ardreth. So what we learned at the Eye of the Allfather is a ton of shit went down. It seems to be just a whole bunch of political drama, which honestly, who wouldn't have guessed that? King Hecaton is the king of the giants who keeps everyone in order, and he is the one who went missing, as I'm sure you remember. And thought to be killed, thought to be captured, kidnapped, but whatever happened, he is just no longer there to have order. So it turns out that his eldest daughters colluded with an ancient dragon in the form of a frost giant, and took him off the throne. The youngest daughter is now in need of help, and because they are after her, because they want to be the queen of the giants, I guess. And she needs our help, according to the Eye of the Allfather. However, to get to get there, she is located in the court of the court of the giants. I don't know if you can hear me just furiously going between pages, but I am. She is in the court. However, the only way to get to the courts is through a magic conch of the storm, which only the dudes, what are they fucking called? The dukes, the giant lords, have one each, which means there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. King Hecaton has one, And Duke Zalto, who we know is the guy building the huge Megatron to destroy the world, he also has one. So that could be two birds, one stone if we go after them. Let's see what else did we learn. What the fuck else am I going? I feel like that's just like the gist of it. I feel like I want to go more into detail next time, where you guys will actually remember what I say.
That's all right. Just write it down on Facebook.
Let's see. Interfere.
This isn't in the Google Doc, is it?
Nope.
Okay.
Speak to Ceresa. She has proof. Oh yes. Because we want to reinstate the King Hecaton into his rightful place. We can't just go into the court and say that we talked to the Eye of the All-Father, and therefore we know all, and King Hecaton is alive, and it was his daughters who got rid of him. That would not go down well, so we have to get proof, which is why we want to get King Hecaton back. Also, we know that the other lords, the leaders of the other giants, are up to no good, sort of like Duke Zalto, which honestly not that comforting. Let's see, the ancient dragon's name is Limerith. He is a blue dragon, blue chromatic dragon, I believe. Other than that, we got these two really rad shards, guys. They're pretty rad. The shard of the Isse rune. Ice rune, that makes more sense. It's spelled with an S though. And the shard of the Ild, right?
That's the opal of the Ild. Yep.
Opal of the Ild, and those do some really rad things that I'm sure we will all confer about when we talk about all the cool magic items we now have and how we want to divvy them up, because it appears all of them need attunement. And some of them can, and these shards have a bunch of cool things that I'm sure will be in our journals, all of our journals soon, if not already. And we can also transfer them into different vessels, and they do other cool things. But all in and we can no longer speak to the Eye of the Allfather because we asked too many questions. So now we have to prove ourselves by retrieving some ancient giant artifacts and as tribute to the Eye of the Allfather. And those are found in a lot of burial grounds of Uthgar barbarians around the place. I search Greybeard and I take out the map, and this is the map Harshnag provided us, showing us all the places. Harshnag is decided to stay at the Eye of the Allfather to protect it because we had to fight like a wormling and a bunch of Uthgar barbarians. We're fine, don't worry. I'm sure I still have a little bit of the remoras that we also murdered in the place. It's top notch. We all loved it. I'm sure you will enjoy it.
Very spicy.
Very delicious though, and I'm sure we still have some. Greybeard might still have some goo from the spiders we killed, and let's see. We lost an Uthgard. We fought some stone giants. We killed some other giants. Is there anything I'm missing, Greybeard, that you can think of?
The remoras, Uthgards. Yeah, no, you hit it all.
And and that is a condensed version that I will explain at the beginning of next session. Also, if you have more questions, is that all? And that is class. Good job, guys. I'll see you again next week. Don't forget to do your homework. And if you need any help, my office hours are between. All right. Cool. What did you guys do?
So Jarral is going to ask if he can compare his maps with the map that you had, and he's going to update his map.
Sure. Have at it, buddy. It's not the most detailed thing in the world. It's literally an X.
Well, I'm more the locations around it, just to make sure that his maps are somewhat accurate.
Oh, that's what we should have bought at Mirabar. We should have bought a map. That's like my goal, to just buy a map in every area. I guess now we don't have to because you're here. But that was my plan. To, yeah. So, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
The Jarral's, he's kind of on the same wavelength. Like, anywhere there's a town that has a map that he can buy, he'll buy it.
Oh, well, we find the Weevil. We have to return him to Mirabar anyways. So we'll pick it up then.
Are there any, can he tell from the map if there's any burial grounds nearby?
Oh, there are a ton. It's in our... It's a handout.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm sure eventually that'll get into your little doodad.
Yeah, everybody should be able to see those.
It's all the way at
Harshnay's
the
map?
bottom. Yeah, it's all the way at the bottom.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing this. Okay.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Well, we can talk offline about my idea of how our path should go, and then we can talk about it on stream, so all of you guys know.
Does this Harshnag, is he looking to? I guess all of the IVA. He want us? In order for you to prove yourself, do we need all of these or one?
We need some, I believe. We need to just bring some of them. I'm assuming I think a couple. I don't remember exactly what he said. I haven't gone back to rewatch it. There was a lot of words that happened during that session.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't get a chance to write them all down.
And there was the whole thunder sound and everything.
It was really cool.
Oh my god, that was awesome! And so yeah, it was a bit overwhelming. It was cool.
It was super cool. I would totally recommend it. It was a great session, but a lot of words happened, and I don't remember the specifics. But Ian would, and I would tell you, and we'll rewatch that episode, and I'll tell you next week. But it's more than one. We have to have more than one.
Okay.
I do believe.
All right.
When you were successful on your journey to retrieve this artifact?
It appears. Were you guys aware of what we were asked? Also indicated that we could look for down at the bottom of Superin Hills, that cave.
Oh yeah, that was back after the Battle of Tribor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I was here for that.
The Battle of Tribor?
No,
the one with the big giants.
Or maybe it's just so long I forgot. Okay, so yeah, so we were unable to find the cave that was in that area. We managed to find the Barbarian stronghold in Star Metal Hills. It appears that the Subran Hills is very dangerous, so we should attempt to avoid that at all costs. That is essentially, and he's almost sheepish about it. That was our adventure. We found what we were looking for. But
it's a very important item.
Indeed.
It will allow us to survive in Duke Zalto's crib for longer than a second. So anything that helps us there is a welcome item.
So Rex, can you handle that great sword? That weapon of choice for you?
Not really. I'll leave it to someone else.
All right.
Yeah, that has Greybeard written all over it.
I know. I'm just looking. I was trying to be cool.
I'm sure if you clean it off a little bit, you'll see the graffiti there in Dwarven runes.
That's right. All right. I guess I will attune to that then.
Do you want to? Go ahead.
There's also a scimitar, right?
Yeah. Maybe we should make a list because there's a lot of items now, and they all require attunement, right, Lucian?
So
quite a few of them.
All right. So I'm giving Greybeard the greatsword.
Yeah, because I think he's the only one who can use it.
Sounds like it.
All right. Because Jarral was going to ask who wanted to because it seems like it's important to our objective. So you want to make sure somebody was responsible for it. Jarral wasn't gonna say anything, but we're back on the ship?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Jarral wasn't gonna say anything, but he's basically attuning himself to the scimitar.
You weren't going to say anything about
No.
it. You were just
No.
going to keep it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, it's a +1 scimitar.
Oh, sweet.
Go for it. Let's see. Well, are you going to use that sword a bunch? Is that going to be your main now, Greybeard, since it's fire resistance?
Probably.
Because it's like all the people around you. So the shard of
Ice.
the other one, the one that does the fire one.
Oh, the opal of Ild.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Opal of Ild. It's not
Yeah.
just the same thing, right? Oh no, it's the ice one. That's the fire resistance.
So yeah, I've got both of those written down. Does anybody else want to carry one or more of them?
And let's see. I
What was
feel
the
like
second one?
It's the opal of Ild.
and the
What
shard
is
of
it?
It's
feel free.
it's in the
It's in the magic items.
yeah.
It's a triangular fire opal that measures 3
There it
inches on
is.
each side. Fire rune, shimmers in middle, blah blah blah. Ignite. As an action, you can ignite an object within 10 feet of you. The object must be flammable, and the fire starts in a circle no larger than 1 foot in diameter. Fire's friend. You have resistance to cold damage. Fire tamer. As an action, you can extinguish any open flame within 10 feet of you. You choose how much fire to extinguish. However, gift of flame. You can transfer the opal's magic to a non-magical item, weapon, or suit of armor by tracing the Ild. Oh, we got the other thing. Or is this where? Never mind. I'll keep on going. Ild rune there within your finger. The transfer takes 8 hours. Blah, 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 blah. Not important. At the end, the opal is destroyed and the rune appears in red on the chosen item. If it's a weapon, the weapon is now an uncommon. And that doesn't matter. It deals an extra 1d6 fire damage to any target it hits, and the armor. Rare magic item, doesn't matter. Resistance to cold damage while wearing the armor. And the shard of ice basically gives you fire resistance damage resistance to fire damage. You can touch yourself as an action or somebody else, and they have a mantle of ice. So whenever anybody attacks them with bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing, that damage will be reduced to 0 for one attack, and the mantle will be destroyed. And you can't use it again until another short or long rest. And you get Sleet Storm at its DC 17. Or you can put it on a cloak or boots. And the cloak will give you resistance to fire damage and advantage on dex checks or stealth checks made in snowy terrain. And the boots will let you walk on water and not have to worry about difficult terrain if you destroy it and put it there. So they're pretty rad, like I said, but a lot to read through and a lot to think about. So
Say that was a lot you just threw at us.
yeah, well, the things are on there.
They're in
so,
the journal.
Yeah.
So.
That's just like the
Sure.
rundown.
They're in the journal. You said it was magic items?
Yep.
Maybe I'm not
It's-
looking on the right spot.
There's
It's
a
the
magic
opal.
items folder in the journal.
Oh, it's okay. It's collapsed. Okay, I see it now.
Yep. That's on there. That's why I was like, let's do this off stream because it's just going to be a lot of
Yeah.
us
Okay.
talking about
That
this.
sounds good.
There are a bunch of items we have to talk about. But any other question that we want to let the world know before we go into private and talk about this stuff?
Well, this is a lot to ponder.
Yeah. Also, the circlet. We're gonna have to. Someone should probably at some point
Yeah.
try that out.
Yeah, the Circuit of Blasting allows you basically to cast the Scorching Ray spell.
Oh, that's I love that that magic, that spell. Is that in our thing also? Oh yeah, there they are. Found them.
All right. So, Jarral gave the great sword to
GB.
Greybeard. All right, so he still has the circlet. He's attuned the scimitar.
Yeah, just like write it down in the list because we have
Yeah, I've got
a
it.
few things to talk about. Yeah. All right, cool. So, off to Xanthral's Keep to catch a criminal, and then the rest of our lives apparently, because we just have so much to do.
Hashtag side quest.
Yeah, well, 5,000 gold is something I've been looking at since we did it, which is why I kept it a secret before we left Tribor, because I was like, that's a lot of money.
Ian was going to do it on her own after she left you guys.
Well, it would have been funny because we would have been like at the guy's door at the same time. Because 5,000 gold, I can get a diamond and bring back Tigray.
Oh man.
You can attempt to bring back TV.
Right. Yep, exactly.
All right, so I think that's where we'll wrap it up. We're trying to get a little bit of that stuff out of the way because I don't want to spend a ton of time in our next session with that info, but we still need to be able to tell the audience how all that stuff panned out. So that will be it for tonight's session. As the two groups have reemerged, we had some leavings, we had some reunions, we had some plans made, and when we pick up next week Monday, it looks like we'll be heading north on our airship. So it should be pretty fun, and
One
we'll
last
see
question.
how that goes. Yeah.
Would we consider this now a long rest?
Yeah, you guys would have had a long rest the night before you even got to Long Saddle. And yeah, you can have
okay.
another long rest if you wish.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
So with that, we will go ahead and say goodbye. I see Agrippa stayed with us most of the time, so that was super cool. Definitely check back next Monday. If you happen to miss this, you can check it out on YouTube. If you're a YouTube viewer, thanks for watching us on YouTube too. Now that we got the group together, we're going to have quite a few sessions. That was 56. Next Monday is 57 as we continue on. So you can check out, some of our players also have Twitch and YouTube channels, so you can check out MC Colonel on YouTube, and he's doing, is it Mixer?
Nope. Just Twitch now.
Okay, Twitch.
Yep.
So look for MC Colonel. You can also find PB Plays Inside on YouTube and Twitch. You can also find Greybeard's Tavern on Twitch and YouTube. And you can check out, they have lots of schedules of when they're doing their shows. They have lots of shows throughout the week. And you can also check out my channel, which you're on at the moment, but we have a lot of shows going on. Definitely check back. I'll do a shout out for Anaris's channel from Twitch. We're going to be playing some D&D tomorrow night, me and PB, in a Tomb of Annihilation game that has been super fun with our friend Nomadic, and Anaris is the DM, and that's been a really good campaign start. We're only into our fourth session, so it's nice and early, and the characters are really gelling together pretty cool, and I think it's a fun adventure, so you can definitely check that out. Also on Saturday morning, we have a show with Jordan, the PH is Silent, which is our Saturday morning D&D show, and we are currently, I'm in the final email phase, but we should be having a interview with Matt Colville on our show on Saturday morning.
Nice.
So that should be cool. You're going to definitely want to check that out. It's about his new Kickstarter that is out, and we're going to ask him a bunch of those questions and hopefully maybe some other DM questions, because he's always about talking about new DMs and how to run the game, and we're huge fans, so it's going to be cool to get to talk to him. If it all pans out, because we're trying to work out on his schedule, which is super busy. So we're hoping it's this Saturday at 12 noon p.m. Eastern on my channel, the SirLucien channel. And then I have a awesome brand new show that is currently on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern with PB Plays Inside, and it is the Standard Array. And it is a RPG show where we talk about a lot of the other RPGs that are not just Dungeons and Dragons. We go over a lot of topics. We have 3 episodes already up. In fact, we have an awesome interview with the one half of the creative team that is making lasers and liches. And that's going to be in Kickstarter pretty soon for the Retroverse. If you haven't seen that, you can check us out on Twitter because we keep reposting and retweeting all those things that they're putting out because they have a fantastic artist. They are doing some great design. Hopefully we'll get to talk to the artist in the upcoming months here. But we're going to do lots of different show ideas with that. So that's our show called The Standard Array, also on my channel. That is at 8 p.m. on Sundays. So I think that's everything. As you can tell, we're playing a lot of Dungeons & Dragons at the moment. Check out Spammy's. I was just going to miss it. Spammy is running a Shadowrun game that you guys can catch on Saturday mornings before our Saturday morning Dungeons & Dragons show. And that has PB, Greybeard, Spammy, and a few other friends that are playing a cool Shadowrun game. So you can definitely check that out over on Greybeard's channel.
The people, the other two characters, Sonic Blade and Glammy Love, were just friends of the show who kept hanging out. And when we decided to start a Shadowrun, they wanted on board, so we got them playing with us. So, never know what's going to happen.
I was going to ask if that was Glammy's campaign she was in.
Yep.
Yeah, and she just sent me a message. She wants to play in one of ours, so I think I'm going to run a game for Glammy and some people here at some point, a one-shot of some point. So she'll have some fun with that. But that is our long-winded outro of all of our plugs for all of our shows, because there seems to be no shortage of content that you can look for if you like Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. If you like role-playing games on tabletop in general, we have you covered. So you can definitely find it on all those different channels. So thanks again, and we will see you next Monday.
Sweet.